Hello all of you sponges and starfish, this is a review from someone who considers the original game one of their favourite games. Keep that in mind, I am not coming into this completely new, so I will compare some aspects. The story is simple, Plankton makes robots, if he gets to set them to obey, go save Bikini Bottom. Unfortunately, as soon as I got into this game, I noticed something that would plague the game through the entire experience. There's constant frame rate issues, and as soon as I exit Spongebob's house, very blatant pop-ins. The hub world is Spongebob's neighbourhood and allows us to see iconic locations such as Spongebob's house, Sandy's tree dome, and the Krusty Krab. This hub world is great. Oh hey Mr. Krabs.
SpongeBob, this flapping robot crisis is making the Krusty Krab lose money like a sinking ship. No money means no more Krusty Krab. No more Krusty Krab means no more fry cooking for you.
Oh. They remade the game but didn't fix what I considered the original game's biggest issue. I obviously would have loved Clancy Brown to play Mr. Krabs, but if they couldn't have gotten him, surely there's someone who can do a decent Mr. Krabs impression, because that isn't Krabs. Though I'd argue Mermaid Man is just as bad. Other than those two, the voice acting is the cast of SpongeBob, and it's just nice to get interactions between them, because yeah, the dialogue feels like the classic SpongeBob seasons. For moves, with SpongeBob, you have the most diversity. I don't know why people struggle with the bubble bowl. Stand further back. Patrick, despite being the dumb guy, is the most puzzle oriented with object lifting. One thing that bothered me with Patrick was the lock-on was a bit of a mess in busier areas. I feel like this could have easily been fixed by using the D-pad to change what you're aiming at. Sandy is great at being airborne, being able to swing from Texas symbols and hovering. Sandy is my favourite to play with, but the game balances how often you get to use Patrick and Sandy well. SpongeBob has the biggest moveset, so it makes sense he's used the most. The worlds in this game are the iconic locations from the SpongeBob show. My one complaint about the places chosen is that I do think Glove World could have been its own place, rather than just having a fair thing in Gulagoon. I don't know, I just feel like this is one change that would have been good. Even if it was just keeping the pier, and then having Glove World be like a bonus world after finishing the game. The worlds though, yes. This is a big part of what made the original so amazing. The worlds feel like SpongeBob worlds. I love jellyfish fields. Look at this grass, Okay, so quick check-ins on each world. Jellyfish Fields is what I consider a perfect beginning level in a 3D collectathon platformer. It's very easy, memorable, and lets you get the hang of things, and will likely tell you if this game is for you or not. The one big flaw being that stupid ramp thing that's stupidly awkward to jump off of. Downtown Bikini Bottom is a pretty good world, though it feels the most standard to me, I guess. I do love playing as Sandy though, whenever the game lets me, so that's nice. I do wish, and I wished this when playing the original game, that you could go inside more buildings. Gulagoon. This one is strange as in this and the original game, they planned for Glove World, and that's kind of mashed into this, at least thematically. This is one of the levels I feel like the developers got the most creative with, as in the show it really is just a beach most of the time, so stuff like the caves and basically everything about this feels new, but it fits and it's an enjoyable world all the way through. The Murmur is the weirdest way to enter a world for me, as every other world is right in your face, but this requires some minor exploration. I'm not a big fan of this world, but I think a lot of that is because of Mermaid Man's voice. That said, I really enjoyed the Patrick sections, but that ball machine from the original, and in this remake, can fuck itself. Rock Bottom, like Gulagoon, is one where creativity had to be came up with, and the developers ran with it. They kind of added to the lore of this world by making it heavy on art, but it also feels so much like the one in the show, right down to the bus stop thing. Sand Mountain takes the tongue sliding stuff you do, and makes a whole world out of it. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense, as this is straight from the show. Very basic, but it's creative and I love these sections, so I love this world. SpongeBob's Dream is my favourite world, easily. Such a weird mess of shapes and gives us mini worlds based on the characters from the show, like Sandy's Texas themed slide and Mr. Krabs' money obsessed dream. Squidward's dream I've heard people found difficult, but honestly I didn't have any issue with this. This isn't a brag, if anything I had a lot more of an issue outside of the dreams. Despite being my favourite world, the Patrick world is a disappointment. Like, they said they'd bring back old cut content, we got the pointless multiplayer I guess. I just think it would have been brilliant to play a beautiful dessert themed world, then maybe fall into a hole to enter the nothingness we get here to receive spatula. Or maybe the nothingness slowly takes over Patrick's mind to showcase his flanderization as time goes on, like in the show. Then we get the best of both worlds and some satire. Or not, that's probably stupid. Kelp Forest received the biggest glow up imaginable. This, other than stuff like the graphics, is the best upgrade this remake gave. Well, even here it's visual. But yeah, the brightness is much better. Though I personally never really had a problem with the original, I can admit this is better. And it's not my least favourite world, that's probably the Murmelair. The Flying Dutchman's graveyard is such a delight to play through. I don't know, I guess I just love the combo of ghosts and pirates, and it easily has the best atmosphere of any world. And if there's one physics thing this game greatly improves over the original, it's the wall jumping. The bosses are one of the best parts of this game, so if you haven't seen them, I'm not showing them, as they are a major highlight. It is a spoiler review, but all you need to know is that I think they're great, but a bit easy. Okay, for positives of both games, they have amazing boss battles and well-designed worlds that feel directly pulled from the show. The game is excellently paced and feels very fair as you go through, with the amount of needed spatulas for the next areas. The conversations feel like they were written by the early season writers, in the sense that the characters feel like they're characters from those seasons. The comedy is decent too. Finally, it's just a generally fun to control 3D platformer to me, and despite playing on the Switch version for the remake, I got used to those controls fairly quickly. Downsides for both. Mr. Krabs and Mermaid Man simply do not sound right. I wish you could move slightly forward or backwards after using the bubble helmet. Kelp Forest is still not very clear navigation wise, and I cheated in this remake, like in the originals, to get to the next area with the stone tikis. Let's quickly go over improvements from the original. Visuals look so much better, in a technical sense anyway. The wall jumping has improved, the counter for your shiny objects changes colour, and it's charming. I think the world map has been improved, and the lighting in Kelp Forest is majorly improved and makes it far more enjoyable. For downgrades, there's that weird jump that's strangely hard to do in Jellyfish Fields. I know it sounds petty to pick that out, but really can get annoying when you keep falling down and you have to keep walking slowly back up. The frame rate is a major issue and ultimately is why I can't call either version the definitive version. And the game, while better looking in a technical sense, like characters being on model, it also loses some charm as attention to detail has been reduced. I'm disappointed with how little new they added. It was basically just that boring multiplayer mode, which definitely makes this game feel rushed. Likely because it was supposed to release alongside the next Spongebob movie. This game is insanely disappointing. I'd love for them to add bonus worlds as DLC, preferably free, but I'm not getting my hopes up for it to even exist. Would I recommend this remake as someone that played the original? Yes. I would not recommend the Switch version though, unless you really want to play portably because of the frame rates and pop-in issues. My biggest hope from this entire game is that it sells well enough for us to get a sequel-like game with a good budget, much higher than whatever this got, and plenty of development time, again much more than what this got, with a possible playable Squidward. I'd love it if Squidward could use his suction cups to climb walls, kinda like Cat Mario in Super Mario 3D World. A man can dream. That's all for this video. Let me know what you think about this game in the comments, and until next time, bye I guess.